What's up guys, it's Donkey Shot for fxray.com. Welcome to another amazing Photoshop tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create your very own minion, so let's get started.
So here we are on Photoshop CC 2015, and what I want to do is I want to start with a new document, name it Minion, and make it a square of 1600 pixels and a resolution of 72. First thing I want to do is I want a grid, and for that I'm going to Photoshop's preferences, into the guides, grid and slices menu, and I want to change the grid line to every 100 pixels with a subdivision of 5. So I'm going to press OK, and I want to go to View, Show Grid, and now I can start to build my minion. For that, let me select the rounded rectangle tool, which is hidden behind the rectangle tool. Then double click on the canvas to open the dialog and set the size to 600 by 1000 with a radius of 275 for the upper and 175 for the lower edge. Confirm with OK. So here's the body. Switch to the Move tool and select all by pressing Command A. Then align the body to the center both horizontally and vertically. Rename the layer to Body and double click on the layer preview to change the color to HSB 50, 50, 100 to get a minion-like color. For the other body parts, I'm going to use the Custom Shape tool. And within the Shape dialog, I want to add some shapes I already created. So select Load Shapes. On our website, you can download the Minion shape set. And to make things easier for you, I'm going to switch to Large List. Let's see. Here we have the fxray Minion arm shape. So select the background layer and hold the Shift key to protect the proportions. We can change the size of the arm anytime, but let's position it first. Obviously, the arm should be above the body. And let's change the color to HSB 40, 60, 80. What you want to do is you want to really make sure that the arm fits into the body. Good. Maybe slightly bigger. Okay. Next thing, I want to bring the path window on a separate level so it's easier to deselect the path. And let's continue with the minion hand. So we have two different hands, one open, one closed. I select the closed one and hold the Shift key. Reposition the hand to the end of the arm, somewhere here. Change the color to black and rename the layer to Hand. Select both layers and press Command J to duplicate them. Then press Command T to transform them. Right-click into the box and flip horizontal. And now you can move it to the other side of the body. Okay, that looks good. So deselect the path and select the Custom Shape tool. And let's find the lag. Here it is. So let's see. Should be something like this. And I really need to make sure that there's a smooth transition. And I also want to have a one square gap from the middle, like that. Same here, change the color to HSB 40, 60, 80. Rename the layer into lag. And finally, select the Custom Shape tool with the shoe shape and drag it to a size like this, black, and rename it into shoe. Put it right behind the lag layer and find the right position. That looks good. Select the lag and the shoe, press Command J, press Command T, right click and flip horizontal, then reposition the duplicated leg. Perfect. So what I want to show you, once you have the body, press Command T and try to change the size of the body. This way you can make the first step to customize your minion. That's a baby minion, for instance, and that's a really large minion. Once you've set the size, press Command T and hit the Warp Transformation button. Let's zoom in for the bottom. Activate the grid and slightly move the bottom of your minion towards the ground to adjust the body shape. As a last step, I want to add a face, starting with the glasses. So with the Custom Shape tool, I select either the Minion glasses or the Minion 1 glass, but I'm going for the glasses. They are pretty huge. Let's see, probably something like this. Black color, put it into the center and make them even bigger. Rename the layer into glasses, then select the ellipse tool and create a circle for the eyeball, white of course, and it should be right behind the glasses. Press Command T and squeeze the eyeball to something like this. Rename the layer into eye and another circle for the iris. Maybe this size, black, and maybe smaller to about 60 pixels. Here we go. Select both eye layers, press Command J, Command T, and flip them horizontally to mirror the eye. Well, that looks pretty cool. What I need for the glasses is an elastic. So let's create a new empty layer, name it elastic, then select a hard black brush, about this size, and paint two lines, one below the other, something like that. Press Command T, and by holding the Alt key, you can modify each single point and create a perspective. Duplicate a layer with Command J, flip it horizontally, and place it on the other side. And finally, let's end with the mouth. For that, I select the Path tool. Make sure it's set to shape, no fill, black stroke with 2 points. And let's activate the grid to get a better orientation and create a mouth with 2 points only. And I think we're good here. Maybe a little lower. So that's basically our minion. Let's clean this up a little bit. Select the layers responsible for the face and put them into a face group, and the other layers into a body group. Within the body group, select the shoes and put them behind the body layer and the hands on the top of all body layers. Then select the body layer and double click to open layer styles. Activate gradient overlay and copy this gradient starting with HSB 40, 60, 80, going to HSB 50, 50, 100. Set the style to reflected, angle to 0, and scale to 150%. Maybe increase the opacity to about 60%. Select all body layers except hands and shoes and convert them to a smart object. Name it body, then duplicate the layer, name it body 3D, and finally rasterize the layer. Then, and that's the important part, hold the Command key and click on a layer preview to make a selection and add a layer mask. Deactivate the body layer. What I want to do is I want to select the Mixer Brush tool with the preset Wet. And now I'm going to merge the different colors and shapes by painting over those joints, smoothing out the different colors to make a nice gradient. Okay, what I want to do next is I want to add a new layer arm as a clipping mask of the body 3D layer. Set the blending mode to soft light and try to repaint the contour of the arm and even to sketch an armpit. A little bit of a highlight here. Then go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and blur the contour with about 2 pixels. Then duplicate the layer, flip it, and place it on the other side. Maybe decrease the opacity to about 40%. Next, let's add a highlight to the hand on a new empty layer. Same here as a clipping mask. And I'm just going to paint some white spots on the hand, blur it a little bit, and decrease the opacity. Same thing on the shoe. Here I can work a little bit more detailed since the shape allows me to get an idea how the actual shoe looks like. Some highlights at the front, blur it a tiny bit, and of course we're going to duplicate those layers and flip them to the other side. Same thing on the hand, and we're good to continue right now. So that's our 3D looking body. Let's take care of the face. I want to start with the eyeball, so double click on the layer to open layer style preferences and add an inner shadow. Opacity to about 35%, the angle to about 165 degrees, so the shadow is on the outer side. The distance to about 20 and the size to, let's say, 24 pixels. Hold the Alt key and drag the layer style icon to the other eyeball, and then adjust the angle to about 35 degrees. So we can do quite a lot of things with the glasses, but we already prepared something. Go to Windows, Styles, click here and select Load Styles. Here we have the styles from our website, which we can see here. So let me select the glasses and click on the Minion glasses style to make them look cool. If you double click on a shape, you can adjust the color of the glasses. And if you open layer style, you see that we have a bunch of drop shadows. That's something that's new in Photoshop CC 2015. You can add more than just one style. If you're working with an older version, unfortunately, you would have to paint your own shadow on a separate layer. Select the elastic layer and add the elastic style, which works fine as well with the middle line. And finally, select the mouth and add the mouth style. Let's zoom out. Well, and now that the Minion body is prepared, we're going to personalize it. So I want to start with the iris. Let's zoom in for the eye, and I want to go to File, Place Embedded. Here I have a picture of my open eye I took with my iPhone 6, so you can see the full iris. Just scale it down, and now I'm going to make a clipping mask of the iris layer, reposition and rescale the image so the iris fits perfectly. Once you've done that, you can merge both layers by pressing Command E, and then go to Image, Adjustments, Curves, and really try to brighten up the whole iris. Maybe something like this. Once this is done, press Command J and move the duplicate to the other eyeball and delete the black iris shape. So that's the first personal touch. Next, I open one of my images to get a reference. And first of all, I want to select the hair and copy those into my main document. Right above the glass layer and name it hair. Lower the opacity so I can look through and find the right position. Then add a layer mask and get rid of pretty much everything but the hair. Like that. Then click Mask Edge in the Properties window and repaint the edges of the hair to make a perfect selection. Maybe some adjustments on the hair, on the layer mask. And I also want to resize and reposition the hair to something like that. Back on my image, I want to select the beard, copy it, and paste it into my main document. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I did with the hair. Add a layer mask and get rid of the skin, position it, and maybe adjust the size. And finally set the blending mode to multiply to really make only the hair visible. Next, select the mouth and make it slightly smaller, maybe rotate it to give the face a more mischievous expression. What I also want to do is I want to improve the beard, so let's create a new empty layer, name it Beard Painted, and select the preset brush Grass. But we need to adjust that brush. Deactivate the color dynamics and now just repaint parts of the beard. Change the angle every time you switch the edge, and one more time here, and here we go. And we can also repaint the inner parts of the beard. Also change the blending mode to multiply. Add a layer mask and select a soft brush to get rid of the parts inside the beard. Like that. Then decrease the opacity to about 40%. That makes the beard even more hairy and contoured. To finish the beard, let's add another empty layer. Zoom in for the face and select a hot brush. Open the brush window. Set the size to 1, spacing to 1000%, maybe size to 2 pixels. Activate shape dynamics with a size jitter of 15. Also add scattering, 1000% on both axes. And increase the count to 3. And now paint some beard stubble. Here we go. Set the opacity to about 50%. Next, Let's dress up our minion. For that, I already created two paths in my reference image. So let's open the path window, press Command and click on the lapel path and copy it. Then paste it into our document. Now I'm trying to find the right size and position for the lapel, ending in the bottom center of my minion body. Something like that. And of course, duplicate and mirror it to the other side like that. Switch back to my image and make a selection out of the other path, copy it and paste it under the lapel. And what I'm trying here is to find a good size and proportion for the jacket, primarily concerning the arms. Also need to make sure the jacket covers the whole body. And once it fits, I want to make a selection of the whole body. And for that, I need to find my body 3D layer, which is in my body folder. And here, hold the Command key and click on a layer mask to create that selection. And back on our jacket layer, create a layer mask out of the selection. Then adjust the layer mask by painting with a hard brush, especially on the arms. You want to add more of the material, like that. Then select the jacket and the stamp tool and get rid of the lapel on this layer. And also make sure to end up correctly with a hard edge. That's why I need another selection of the body. Here we go. And finally, add a black solid color to create pants. Just get rid of the parts you don't need and move it behind the jacket and lower the opacity. So here's the final image of our Dominion. If you would spare a little bit more time on details, you finally could end up with something like this. I know some of you people tend to be a little bit lazy, so here's what we have for you guys. We created a Dominion template Photoshop file, which contains all the things we already discussed and even more. You'll find both hand shapes, which you can switch, for instance. The layer style for the body is applied. We also included not only the glasses, but the single eye version. Only thing you have to do is to add the 3D look. And even here, we gave you a little help just in case you're not using Photoshop CC 2015. So here's the shadow on a separate layer for the glasses and also for the single glass version. But there's something else I wanted to show you. We learned how to create a Dominion, but if you want to add more of your personal character into the image, here's what you can do. First, what you need to know is pretty obvious. If you move your iris to the bottom, the minion will look down. If you move it to the top, the minion will look up. And of course, you can move it to the side. What else can you express with an eye? Let me show you. Select the ellipse tool and create a circle slightly bigger than the inner glass. Change the color to our main yellow, HSB 50-50-100. Then select the direct selection tool, which is under the path selection tool. Select the bottom point and press delete. Confirm with yes. What this is, I created an eyelid. So rename the layer and duplicate it, rotate it 180 degrees and move it to the bottom. So with the two eyelids, we can create different eye expressions. If we show the upper lid only, it makes the minion look daydreaming, while the lower lid only makes the minion look excited. And both lids almost closed made express concentration. For the 3D look, you can either paint something or use our minion lid style. This one here, which works fine if you want to get to fast results, which from far away doesn't look that bad. So that's a good way to give your minions some feelings. Another way to add feelings and a more personal character to your minion is to change the mouth. Add a bright smile or a scream. So if you rotate this mouth, you can make him look sad. But what if it should be more special, like an open mouth? Let's hide this mouth for now, select the custom shape tool, and we have a bunch of different mouth shapes. I want to start with the wide open mouth shape, set fill color to black, no stroke, and create a really large mouth. I think that looks funny. Let's name this mouth smile. And of course, I can apply the minion mouth layer style, but this time I need to change the color overlay into a dog red. Something like that. Okay. So inside the mouth, I want to place a tongue. And for that, we do have another shape. Let's place it here and change the color to a classic tongue color, like that. Name the layer tongue, press Command and click on this mouth smile layer to create a selection and add a layer mask. Then unlink it so you can move the tongue around within the mouth. Looks pretty cool, but something's missing, the teeth. So select the custom shape tool with the minion tooth shape and draw it somewhere here. Change the color to white. Then hold the Alt key and drag the tooth to create some duplicates in a row. Next, select the tooth layers and put them into a teeth group. Then make a selection of the mouth shape and add a layer mask to the group. Finally, select all tooth layers and apply the minion teeth style. And that's how you create a bright smile on a minion.
That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our tutorial. My name is Dom Quixote. Take care.